Westbrook.
And Russell Westbrook. He's hearing some boos.
Westbrook, you suck ass!
From NBA MVP to near oblivion, Russell Westbrook's career was on life support. Once the league's walking triple-double, his journey through multiple teams left fans questioning if his magic was gone for good. However, Westbrook is back, not just surviving but thriving with the Denver Nuggets. So how did he pull off this comeback of the century? Let's dive in.
It is the talk of the town. Russell Westbrook being traded to the Houston Rockets after 11 years with the Thunder.
I'm gonna cry today. I'm gonna cry today, and I don't want to hear anything about it.
You see, Westbrook leaving the Thunder was like Dame leaving Portland. Both put blood, sweat, and tears into their respective teams. Nevertheless, this marked a new beginning for Westbrook. As a Rocket, he fit into the system as a co-star. Him and Harden dominated and took the league by storm. In his only season in Houston, Westbrook averaged 27 points, 8 rebounds, and 7 assists, pretty much making him one of the best guards in the league at the time.
However, this is where the road got shaky. You see, Westbrook had informed team officials that he had been uneasy with the culture of the franchise and didn't like sharing the floor with someone who was stealing a spotlight. So what was his solution? The Washington Wizards. Some might argue the worst franchise in history. On the other hand, he wasn't expected to go to a championship team. As a Wizard, Russell regressed, but not too much. Although you could see a shell of his former self beginning to appear, but he was still pretty good, with him leading the NBA in assists and having the most triple-doubles in Wizards franchise history.
Mind you, he only played 65 games for them. Nevertheless, Westbrook didn't look the same, but he wasn't terrible. He was not nearly as aggressive as his previous seasons, and even when he was at times aggressive, he would throw up a bad shot and make unforced errors.
Many critics had never seen this before, and when they got a chance to troll the Westbrook fanbase, they did just that. You should look up how many nicknames he has been given. Honestly, some are pretty creative, although this is where his career hit a dead end.
With Westbrook seeing that Washington clearly did not work out, he paired up with LeBron.
A possible deal that would deliver Russell Westbrook to the Lakers.
He made a fool out of himself by shooting under 30% from 3, missing some wild shots.
On top of that, his turnover ratio was filling up the stat sheets. He made more appearances on Shaqtin' a Fool than playoff games. I mean, he did achieve his initial goal to be a star. The star water boy, that is. Westbrook pretty much showed that his career was over. All the media told him to retire. Westbrook was forgotten. He had one of the worst seasons and it was looking like it was an end to an era. How do you go from Mr. Walking Triple-Double to star water boy, some would ask?
I mean, he's only been 4 years removed from his MVP season. However, what we think may not be what you expected. See, his whole focus was to be the one in the spotlight, although when he's been given the spotlight, he's seemed to struggle. And the reason for this being that he was getting older. Westbrook was 32 by this time and couldn't rely on his athleticism as much anymore. And when it was time to let his 3-ball shine, he failed. This happens to many stars. Take Michael Jordan, for example. Back in '85, Jordan had a bad leg injury. Before this, Jordan was one of the most explosive players in the league. However, with this injury, he had developed so much of his mid-range game, which led to so many memorable moments.
He gives to Jordan. Jordan to the circle, puts the shot in the air. Good! The game's over, and the Bulls have won.
What's so bad about all of this is that Westbrook was still on a max contract. You see, Westbrook and the whole organization wanted him out. However, they couldn't do this since no team was willing to pay out that much for someone who was looking like a G League player. No offense, Brodie.
This meant that unless Westbrook was willing to take a vet minimum, his career in the NBA was over. Thankfully, after 2 treacherous years with the Lakers, Westbrook finally got picked up by the Clippers. Hopefully you can start to see the pattern. Basically, ever since OKC, Westbrook has tried numerous times to create a super team, and none of his attempts have worked. But that all changed.
After finishing the season with the 5th seed and making it to the playoffs, the next year Westbrook did the unthinkable. He made the selfless decision to take a step back and get benched. And with this, a lot happened. Westbrook improved his shooting percentage with the Clippers, but also never returned to the heights of his high-scoring, ball-dominating peak. At least it was somewhat of a positive in all this drama. However, after giving the Clippers 2 good seasons, he was ready to move on yet again.
There were all kinds of warning signs around Russ in the offseason. He'd basically overstayed his welcome at his last few spots, struggling to fit in. No matter how much teams tried to stick him in a smaller role, the old Russ would inevitably come out and take over the game, for better or worse. So he decided to take his talents to Denver. And this is where it starts to get good. See, with Denver, Westbrook found his new home. The Denver Nuggets are now 18-6 with Russ in the starting lineup. Even off the bench, he's been the 6th man the Nuggets needed, since the bench was a key issue that may have genuinely lost them the series against Minnesota last year.
Nevertheless, the Nuggets took a chance on Westbrook, and right now it is paying dividends, and that has benefited both Westbrook and the team. His dynamic playmaking abilities and his 2-man game with Jokic has opened up endless possibilities. Good news for the Nuggets, he also has made it clear that he's not going anywhere.
I'm grateful for them wanting me to come here, and then second, getting here and allowing me to be able to be who I've been.
Which has been one thing he struggled with. I guess we can say it. Finally, Russell Westbrook has found his home.
For years, Westbrook's looked for a home, and he's finally found that with the Nuggets. Whether it's his chemistry with Jokic or being selfless and going on the bench, Westbrook is a major contributor to the Denver Nuggets record. Westbrook's balling out, and I'm sure he won't slow down soon. Thanks for watching LV Hoops.